Hello again, Dr. Jennifer Sweeten here. I wanted to do a second follow-up video to that one video that I did about a month ago, which is Who is the Gatekeeper of EMDR? Where I discuss some of what I put in a blog for online CE credits about the myth of the professional gatekeeper and what clinicians should look for when they're getting trained in EMDR. So, doing this series of updated videos on different myths that I've encountered both as an EMDR trainer and also as co founder and co owner of online CE credits. Things that I've been asked, things that I've seen in Facebook posts, comments, things that I've been asked a million times, or other people at the company have been asked. Because I think sometimes these misconceptions can really limit our practice and limit the extent to which we can really help our clients. So, the topic that I want to discuss in this video is the statement that I've heard over and over and over again, which is definitely a myth, and it's that you must complete an EMDRIA-approved program for protocol fidelity. Okay, so if we're going to do it right, we're going to be adherent to the protocol, we need to go through an EMDRIA-approved program. Okay, so first of all, when you go through an EMDRIA-approved program, there is a really good chance that it is going to be adherent to that original 8-phase model if you're doing a basic training. Okay, if that's the training that you're doing. Yeah, absolutely. I think they do a really good job of looking for that in their evaluation process, their application process for EMDR trainers. But this idea that you have to, in order to really achieve that protocol fidelity, absolutely false. Absolutely not. There's actually so many thoughts that I have about this. First of all, keep in mind that so much of EMDR these days is really about innovation. And yes, there's still some research on the original 8-phase model, but not nearly as much because we've kind of been there and we've done that. A lot of what we're looking at now in research is modifications, variants. How do we use it with different populations, different conditions? What are some different strategies that might actually work even better than the original model? So most of the training these days are not actually adherent to the model. And this includes EMDRIA-approved trainings. I just got an email recently about EMDR for neurodiverse clients. Super awesome. How cool. Yeah, we probably need to think about that, right? We need to think about how to modify EMDR for the people that we aim to help. Children, those with TBI, depression, panic disorder. We have all these different strategies now that we're incorporating too that have nothing to do with the original model. Whether it's interweaves, cognitive interweaves, flash forward, progressive counting, progressive approach, RTEP, MGTEP, act as if model, and that the list goes on. There's over 100. There might be in the upwards of 200 now. Protocol modifications that have been published. So most of what's out there isn't even protocol adherent anymore. And I think that's a good thing because, innovation is always important. And there's no one thing, one approach that works for everyone all the time. We need to be client-centered. So kind of keep that in mind. But I do agree that for that intro training to learn the skills, the step-by-step skills, being faithful to that protocol is the best place to start. That's what you want to be trained in. But it's almost like we're told that there's this secret, like to be faithful to the protocol, you have to have like certain, and usually it's kind of mysterious. It's not stated who is, reviewing these applications. I actually had to reach out to EMDRIA recently to figure this out, like who at EMDRIA is even doing this. And it turns out, from what I can tell, it's volunteers from the board, which, okay. But, this idea that only these specific people within this organization, these volunteers, would have any idea what the protocol entails. That is something I would push against. If you are completing a non-EMDRIA approved training, okay, it's not going to be hard to know whether it's adherent or not. It's not going to be difficult. Ask for an outline, you're going to see pretty quick. Once you see the materials too, even ask for a couple of example materials. Maybe not like the entire slide deck, somebody's intellectual property, but ask for maybe a couple of examples from a couple of the phases to kind of see. I say this because this is really easy. EMDR is not always easy to do, but actually the steps are very straightforward and they're not as complex as something like cognitive processing therapy, which, I was trained in that like 15 years ago or something, and I still get confused with cognitive processing therapy sometimes. That's not EMDR. It's really not nearly as complicated. We can all figure out if something is adherent to the protocol by just a Google search. It's not hard. So I actually have a list here, okay, of resources. I'm going to name them off. So if you're wondering if a training that you're going to or that you're thinking about has that protocol fidelity, okay, here's what you can compare it to. First of all, EMDRIA themselves has an official guide. Okay, they have an article on the 8 phases of EMDR therapy. Okay, has research links to really key research articles, studies that have been conducted. But right there, you can see what these 8 phases are and what they entail. There's also a free EMDR 8-phase protocol PDF. And what I'm going to do, actually, I think in the description after I go do this live, is I'm going to put these links down in the description for you. Okay, so you can go to this website, and in this PDF, you can see the entire protocol. You can go to the Trauma Therapist Institute's free PDF guide for the free EMDR 8-phase protocol PDF. This is great. You can go to the Springer Publishing appendix, part of the academic breakdown series, and I can give you that link too. But in this appendix, it's Appendix B, outlines, actually details the 8 phases of the EMDR standard protocol. You also have PMC open access articles from Frontiers in Psychology. I'll give you that link as well. It's called The Structure of EMDR Therapy, Guide for the Therapist. Okay, and if that's not good enough, go to Francine Shapiro herself in her books. 2018, this is like the protocol, the manual, okay? It's EMDR 3rd edition. Check out chapter 4. It's all there. Okay, full scripts, flow charts, phase-by-phase goals, BLS instructions, troubleshooting. This is your definitive source. So if you want to know if something's adherent, it is not hard. You can find this stuff so many places, right? This is not a well-kept secret. Thankfully, I'm glad it's not well-kept secret because we can help more people, but we don't have to be so scared that like, oh my God, we would have no idea if there's protocol fidelity. It's everywhere. We don't need to be so frightened by this. You can also go to our 2016 book, Basic Principles, Protocols, Procedures, EMDR, the Breakthrough Therapy for Overcoming Anxiety, Stress, and Trauma. That's chapter 5, if you want to check that out. There's not a lot of detail if you go check out the 1997 version, but the 2016 version is a lot more detailed. It's great. How about her book, Getting Past Your Past, 2012? Check out chapter 3. And this was actually written for a lay public. Again, let's not be so scared of this. We want to get trained. We want to get trained well. We want to do it right. We want to know the model. But this information is out there, even for lay public members, right? It's out there for us. You can also check out her 2007 book, Handbook of EMDR and Family Therapy Processes. So this is the 8 phases applied to couples and families. Now, it does go over the original model, but this is also a beautiful example of how it's going off script, right? It's adapting to family therapy. So you get kind of like the original 8-phase model and you get some adaptations right there in this book. So not a mystery, not something you have to be like so worried about, like, oh my gosh, if it's not, something that has the EMDRIA stamp of approval, then we have no idea if it's protocol adherent. Like, you can figure that out very, very, very easily. And, if you don't have a lot of money to buy her books right now, again, check out these links that I'm going to put in the description, and you can see a whole lot that is out there. I encourage you, get trained in the original model. If time and resources allow for it, get trained by more than one trainer. I'm not here to tell you just get trained by me. Don't get just trained by me. Different people do this differently. Get on YouTube and look up EMDR examples, and you're going to see a lot of different trainers. And when you watch these videos, they're going to every single one of them does it a little bit differently. Some do it a lot differently. So even when they're adherent to the model, there's various ways of doing things. So take trainings by multiple people. Watch videos of different trainers doing it. Practice with different colleagues doing this, right, with these skills. So you get a sense of, yeah, we can be adherent to the model, but we don't have to be super rigid, and we don't have to be so scared that we would have no idea what it would mean to be adherent. This information is out there for us, and a lot of it is free. Okay, thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you for the next video.